If you're new here, I'm Connie. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I started this channel about 2 months ago as a way to encourage myself and hopefully other people to refine our creative and homemaking skills. So over the past several weeks, I have been recording some videos more about cooking, and I have wanted to make this video because I've been toying with the idea of making more of my clothing items to work into my wardrobe. I want to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about my experience with sewing and crocheting and knitting. So I am a wife and a mother of 2. I've been homeschooling my children for several years now, and they are both in their early teen years where they are becoming a lot more independent and they don't need me to be so hands-on. I am finding myself with more time to where I can dedicate it to some of those creative projects that I have kind of put on the back burner since they were little kids. I'm really excited for this next stage in my life where I can do some of those creative things. So after watching tons of videos about me-made May wardrobes, I have gotten so inspired and so excited to start making my own wardrobe. So let me tell you a little bit about my experience with sewing. I have kind of sewn on and off over the last few years. I started sewing when I was young. My mother taught me pretty much just the basics. She did a lot of sewing throughout my entire childhood. And then as I had children, I would sew their Halloween costumes, or I would sew some of pajamas for them. Really not things that are meant to be long-term garments. And then about 2 years ago, I did sew myself a skirt for a holiday party that I was going to, and it required me to do some sewing on a machine and some hand sewing. And the process of making the skirt was so fun and enjoyable, and it was so exciting to have this garment that I actually made myself, that at that moment I decided I need to start making some pieces in my wardrobe. As far as crocheting, I did learn how to crochet when I was about 8 years old, and ever since then I've made many gifts for people, and I do have some patterns that I sell on Etsy. I can leave a link below if you're interested in seeing any of that. That mostly was me making gifts for people. And then when my son was born, about 14 years ago, I decided that I wanted to learn how to knit because there's nothing better than a hand knit garment. So I started teaching myself using YouTube videos and getting books, and I would just make all sorts of different things for people and for my children. And I never really would follow a pattern. I would see something that I liked at a store, or see something, a photo of something someone was wearing, and I would say, I want to make that. So I would just start knitting, and I would come up with something that looked closely to what I wanted, and I would just make it to fit myself or the person that I was giving it to. So it wasn't until just this past year I purchased the Salty Days sweater by Veronica Lindberg, I think her name is. She has a site, Kuta Vakika, and I purchased that, and I made myself this sweater, which I've worn quite a bit, and I loved all the different textures in it, and the pattern was so easy to follow, and I found that it made me want to learn more about pattern making and learn more about these different textures, and I want to learn about just how to do more of like the lace look. So I was just so encouraged by making that one sweater that I decided I needed to learn more about the different fibers, because I did use a yarn that was part acrylic and I think there was just a small amount of wool in it. It ended up stretching a lot, so I decided that I really needed to figure out which yarns or which fibers would end up working best for which different pieces that I was making. My sharing process that I thought that I would use is about once a month I will make a video that show the different items that I've made over that month of time. Include maybe some of the process of me making them, some of the things that I've had difficulties with, or some of the lessons that I've learned, maybe some tips that I've learned, and then also maybe I'll add in some knitting adventures. And I say that because my children and I did end up going to Webb's in Massachusetts for the first time. I live in New York, so we're in the Northeast. I have always wanted to go to Webb's. I'd ordered a bunch of stuff online from them and have never went to their store. And so they were having their tent sale. We didn't actually get to go the day that was outdoors, the tent sale, but we went the day before and I got to go through the store and see a bunch of their yarns, and I did purchase some yarn for a gift that I am making. And so I thought that that would be fun if I just recorded some different things that we were doing that was based kind of on yarn or knitting or crocheting, or going to maybe if I find a local fabric store that I go to, just include everything all in an all-in-one video. I thought that would be fun because I love to watch videos, people showing what they're making or what their inspirations are. And so I thought that that would be fun to kind of have an all-in-one video. So to show you what I am currently working on, and then I'll show you what my plans are for the next video that I make. Here, let me grab some of my supplies. Alright, I just had to run out of the room to grab all of this stuff because I didn't bring it in with me. Alright, while we were at Webb's, I'll show you what I got there. I bought, I think, 4 of these Veiley yarn, and it's Huntington. It is a 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and I got it in the color blue because I am making a gift for someone who will be having a baby, and so I'm not going to say what it is yet that I'm making, but for anyone who does knit, they may see what this is and know what I'm making just from the texture. I'm about halfway done, but that's all I'm giving for ideas. But I will tell you that I did end up making my swatch with the recommended needle size of a 3mm, and I ended up having to size down a little bit, and I went with a 2.75mm needle for this, and I promise I'll show in the next video a completed garment for that. And then I did buy this confetti yarn. I thought the colors were really neat, and it's a cotton yarn, and I'm planning on just making some dishcloths with it for washing. dishes. I thought that that would make really nice dishcloths. It'll just be like my basic pattern that I use to make dishcloths. And hopefully I will be sharing that pattern. I was thinking of putting it up on my website, and then you can just have that. And for my other knitting plans for over the next month is I purchased some of the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Putty because I want to make the Cumulus Tee by Petite Knits. And that is going to be my first garment that I'll be making for myself. And I'll be making it this color. I also purchased some Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Coal, and I haven't decided the exact pattern that I am going to use, but I've been looking at a lot of tank tops or sleeveless tops, and I just want to do like a basic black tank top. There are so many different ones that I love. I'm having a hard time deciding which I'm going to do, but I'll leave below kind of a list of where my ideas are at or what I'm thinking of doing, and then we'll see what I end up coming up with. So by the next video, I'm hoping that I will have started on this. Hopefully, it's pouring rain out right now, sorry. But hopefully I will have started on this project. I also purchased some Knitting for Olive Merino, and this, I am not positive what I'm going to be making with it. I'm thinking along the lines of one of Sari Nordland's, one of her lace tank tops, because those are so pretty, but I don't know if the merino works well with that, and I don't know what her recommended yarn is for that. So that's my thing, is I haven't learned yet what types of yarn will work best for lace work, or what types work best if you want something a little more flowy. Those are the things that I need to start working on, and I think it will be a little bit of trial by error, because I have a problem where people will tell me the information I need to know, but sometimes I need to experience it and see it for myself before it really sinks in. That's just me. Okay, so other than that, I do have a couple of sewing plans. For my first sewing project that I am planning is I want to make the Phoebe top. It is a free pattern that's on fabricstore.com's website, and I purchased a yard of white linen from them, and that's what I'm going to use to make that top. For my other sewing plans for over the next month, I purchased 3 yards of agave colored linen material from fabricstore.com, and I would like to make their Cass pant. That's another one of the free patterns, and it's just a very casual looking pants. So I think that with having the gift knit that I am working on, and then 2 knits for myself and 2 sewing projects for myself, I think that that's a pretty good amount of garments to be working on for a month's period of time. So I'm going to really try to finish all of that within the month, because a lot of the things that I'm making are things that I'm going to want to be wearing this summer. We haven't really had a lot of warm weather yet. Right now we're about mid-June, and it's been unseasonably cold. So I haven't really been missing out on wearing these items. I'm not sure if I've missed anything, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. and I will check back and answer anything that I can. But I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope this encourages you to maybe work on some of those creative skills that you've been toying around with and haven't really taken the next step on doing yet. Hopefully you found this video inspiring, and if you like what you saw, check back next week and see what we're making in our handmade home.